Is the Tobii Eye Tracker any good? I've got one. I'm going to see if it works, if it's worth it. Let's go. We're here in the Arrow, ready to take off, and I'm just going to turn on the default settings and just show you what it looks like out of the box. So you just go into options, comms, VoIP and head tracking, your source, general source for head tracking, swap to Tobii, and then just scroll right down, turn on extended view. There we go, and here we are. Now, I'll warn you, out of the box, it's pretty wild. It's pretty sensitive. Even just trying to look forward is quite tricky. I think this is too sensitive. I mean, it's very responsive, and maybe that's what some people will want, but for me, I'm almost starting to feel sick already. So what I'm going to do, in the setting that I have found that's most useful for this, because there are a load of settings here. This is, again, if you scroll right down, there's a load of general settings for head tracking, and then there's also some Tobii specific ones. You've got a dead zone ability, and you can adjust the scale of it. You can also change how it responds to your eyes or to your head. So if you go all the way up to the top here, it will just respond to your head. If you go all the way down, it will respond just to your eye movement, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty good. It works quite well. Gaze responsiveness just means how quickly it will respond to your eyes. So if you dart around, it will ping with you. It's quite slow by default, which I think again works quite well. You've got sensitivity here for yaw and pitch, and then the one I've ended up this is the only change I've made, is just bumping up the center stabilization to 0.2. And what that does, it just means it's not any small movements that I'm making. It will track it, but it's just nowhere near as intense. The center is much more stabilized, which works well. So I've still got the ability to move. I can still look with just my eyes. So that's looking left, looking right, looking down, looking up, and then yeah, it's still there. And you can fling your head around if you want to, but I think for me, as I look at the camera, it will go a bit wild. For me, that setting has pretty much put it where I want it to be. Okay, so I've taken off and I've got myself to one of the new gas cloud and the Grange points, which is nice. So you can see a bit more because it's quite dark there at Everest. So the main question probably, which I've talked about at the start, is does it work? And it has to be an emphatic yes, it does work, as I look at the camera and look at the sun at the same time. Confusing. It works really well. The technology is really solid. In terms of immersion, in terms of the ability to feel like you're in the cockpit of a spaceship, it is really nice. And once you've had a go with it and kind of got used to it, then turning it off is a lesser experience. I think that's fair to say. So it definitely works, and it's nice. Like, just the ability to kind of, as you just get your bearings a bit more and kind of work out how close you are to things, and are you going to smash into things, which I'm sure I will smash into something. Most times I have. But just the ability to do this and to look around the cockpit as you're flying is really nice. I forget that it's on. I forget that I'm doing anything differently, and I'm just naturally looking around, and it's just become part of flying the spaceship. It's not like I'm consciously thinking, oh, I can look over there. As you fly past something, you kind of just naturally want to kind of look where you are, or look how close you are to something, and make sure you're not going to smash into it. And it just does it. To steal a horrible phrase, it just works. And that from a technology point of view is great. It just works, and it does definitely add something in a spaceship. And we'll get into FPS in a minute, because that is not necessarily my cup of tea, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. There's somebody here. Let's see what happens. I have not done much combat in it. Let's be me. If I don't just clip this space station here. Oh, that's close. Right, let's see if he will fight me. Let's see if I can get myself there. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I can track his pip much more easily. Oh, this has worked out very well. I can track his pip very well. I can just what's he at? Saber. So he probably I can flip. I can keep my eyes locked on where he is, which is really nice. Where's he going? I'm not sure he really wants this. I won't blow him up, because that would be me. But we'll do a bit of damage. I can flip my head around and just keep a much better eye on where he is in combat. So that is nice. He landed. Gives you an idea. I would, in theory, do a a mission, but the PTU is a bit of a mess. The servers are all over the shop, so spawning AI is proving not simple. So maybe that will do. Okay, so we're in Star Marine, everybody's favourite FPS shooter, and have we actually got somebody to fight? Let's have a look. Nope, I've got myself, but I'm sure I can probably kill myself somehow. We'll turn on the FPS. So here, disable during FPS. No, and you're gonna watch. Oh dear, that's not what I want to do. You're gonna watch me probably be sick. Maybe you'll be sick. The good thing is that when you zoom down sight, it disables it, because that would be messy. But even just walking around, it does give you the ability, obviously, to check your corners and all that sort of stuff. But it's just very disorientating. You kind of not. Sometimes you lose which way is forward. It's pretty weird, and I don't think they've obviously not marketed it for this. I don't know if anybody's gonna. I don't know if anybody should buy it for this. Let's put it like that. You can do it. It adds something, but it's tough. Let's see what happens when I hack. I'm still fighting myself, aren't I? But that's okay. Yeah, I don't think this is what anybody is. It doesn't feel. I think once you've played first person shooters and everybody's been playing them for absolute years now, to suddenly then change the whole movement dynamic, it is like a kind of bad VR experience where you suddenly just feel, ugh, it doesn't work. And nobody has marketed it for this. They've not. Tobii or CIG, I don't think in any of the things they put out last week, they didn't say, oh yeah, run around and shoot guns with it. And I think that's fair enough, because it's just a bit, it just makes you feel a bit queasy. So does it work, and is it worth it? It definitely works. It doesn't feel like a technology that's kind of waiting for a few more generations to be good. It's solid now. It works really well. There's not much more to say about that. It works as well as you would hope it would. It just works. You've got the ability to tweak it, obviously, in Star Citizen, and probably most people will want to spend some time tweaking it to find what works best for them. But yes, it's good. Then it's moving on to the question of, is it worth it? Now you've got immersion and you've got cost. And looking at immersion first, it definitely adds to the experience. You feel much more like you're in the cockpit. If you've had a really good VR experience before, it's quite similar to that. The head tracking on its own is great, and the eye tracking also adds to it as well. So I would say it feels much more like you're in the ship. Your ability to kind of scan around where you're looking, track targets, just look at the nice Star Citizen graphics, which is always a nice thing. You've got all of that. I wasn't expecting it to be potentially as good as it is, but it is a really nice experience. You've then also got the cost, £200 or however many dollars or euros. That's not a lot for a lot of people who play Star Citizen, but for some people who do, it's still a lot of money. £200 isn't nothing. I would say, in terms of immersion, you're thinking about, well, what makes up an immersive experience? For me, I would say moving from mouse and keyboard to joystick was a really good move, and I think playing on the joystick now, I just play on the one. It just, the connection you have with the ship, it feels much more like you're flying a spaceship rather than playing a computer game. I think joysticks are great. You obviously then could get another joystick, you then could get pedals, and then you got things like this. You've got kind of icing on top things, maybe you might think about them as. If you're committed to mouse and keyboard and you're not fussed about any of those accessories, then yeah, by all means, go straight to this. It is really good. I'm going to say I would recommend it. I guess there's a chance that for some people it won't be a good experience. You might just find it makes you really queasy, or you might find it just doesn't work for you. But yeah, my recommendation would be it's really good, and it is worth the money if that sort of money isn't a lot of money for you, definitely. So yeah, there's some thoughts. Hopefully that's helpful. Come and subscribe to this channel if you want more of this sort of stuff. I've got some videos about CPU cores and graphics cards, testing all in Star Citizen. That's kind of the point of this channel, and a couple of funny, silly videos as well. But yeah, come and subscribe, and then also come and follow me on Twitch. And when I get to 100,000 Twitch followers, I'm going to get a tattoo of Chris Roberts' face on my foot, which will one day happen, and we're a long way away, but you know, lots of time. So we'll keep going. But yeah, that's all from this one. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.